Well, what's up, guys? And today we're going over Baitcast bird nest. I'm going to teach you how to avoid this 90% of the time while throwing a caster or a baitcast reel. And I'm going to explain why I say only 90% of the time. Let's check it out. Just hanging out. The first official father-daughter deer hunt of the year. The stand was 16 feet in the air, and she did great. So we're going home. Take your kids hunting. It's fun. Man, I won't do that again. That's how you learn. So starting out with bait casting, the first thing I would say is they are one of the coolest pieces of gear when it comes to fishing. So at least if you're not catching fish, you're looking cool while you're not catching fish. This here is the Abu Garcia Max. It is one of the most affordable bait casters on the market. And if my memory serves me correctly, it's the most popular for the price purchased bait caster on the market. So they've sold more of these than any. And it's a perfect entry-level bait caster for the beginner angler, bass fisherman. If you're going to catch, largemouth, smallmouth, whatever, this is the way to go for sure. I've got it on the trusty, let me see if I get that in there, trusty Berkeley lightning rod. I love the color scheme. And this thing is pure butter. It is so smooth, but that's not what we're talking about today. What we're talking about is backlashes. This is one of the most common things that I talk to anglers about and why they stay away from the dreaded but super cool bait casting reel, and they stick with their spinning rods. Most of us started with Zebco push buttons, and then you upgrade as you get a little older, get a little better, to the spinning rod. And the spinning rod is awesome. But for me, I really have enjoyed learning the baitcaster. The baitcaster is kind of like the diaphragm call of turkey hunting, the longbow, or archery in general when it comes to whitetail hunting. It just takes practice. It takes time. It takes dedication. It takes you watching things, applying things, learning things. And so today, this video is for the angler who would like to try to use a bait caster. How do we begin and how do we avoid 90% of backlashes? We've got the line on. The first step is adjusting your brakes. The brakes are responsible for helping slow down the spool when you cast out. Usually they're magnetic driven, and the best spot that I have found personally for me is in between 1 and 10 or whatever it is, 0 to max or whatever. Whatever it says on your rod or reel, sometimes there's just hash marks, other times there's numbers. Go at 50%. It's a great place to start when you're just starting out bait casting. As you get reps under your belt and you feel more and more confident, you know your equipment more and more, you're fine to do whatever you want. But that's a great spot, because if you start casting this thing and it's just bird's nest after bird's nest after bird's nest, most people get fed up. They want to do more fishing than fixing, and they go right back to their spinning rods, which is, a spinning rod is great, but I want to teach you guys how to use the bait caster and how to reduce backlashes. So brakes are set. That's great. The next step is our drag. And normally what I do with my drag is I will just pull on this. Now I set this the other day. Again, you want to really be careful with your, how much you pull or whatnot, because with braid, it'll cut you, okay? I mean, and I'm just giving a tug, and that's great. I'll keep that there. A lot of the times what will happen is you'll set the hook on your first fish, and you'll really find out what the drag is because it'll give a little bit. Lastly, this is the one you're going to adjust the most. This is called the spool tension knob. So with your spool tension, you want to adjust this until your bait drops at the speed that you would like it to drop. So I'm just gonna loosen this thing up, and that's too much for me. Some guys that are pitching, that's not a problem. And sometimes if I'm pitching into a hole, I'll make it go fast like that, okay? But most of the time, I want my bait to slowly drop when I open the bail. So, like this. Still too much. And I'll adjust this every time I put a different worm on, a different bait on. That's getting there. I'm content with that. I like that. Let's check it one more time. Yeah, that's good for me. Nice and slow. The other test you can do is when you open your bail, you want it to hit the ground and not give you a bird's nest. You want it to stop. I like that. That's good. So now it's raining. We're just going to get a quick cast down the side of the house. I'm going to pitch it out. I like that a lot. That's great. One more. And when you're casting your bait, and we'll do a tutorial on bait casting. This was really on backlashes. We want to reduce those. But you're going to open your bail, and before your bait hits your target, you want to stop it with your thumb. So we're just putting it out there. That's good. I like that. No backlash. And we could even open it up slightly more for me. Okay, here we go. One more. Oh, yeah. I like that a lot. So why do I say reduce bait cast backlashes by 90%? The reality is my target audience are beginning anglers, intermediate fishermen, and fishing women. We're not pros around here. Backlashes happen. Birds' nests, which are the same thing, by the way, happen. You might hit something, another pole when you're casting out. You might have forgotten to adjust it because you're excited to get out on the water and start fishing. You might have knocked something loose and didn't check it before you started fishing. A number of things could happen. Backlashes happen. So I don't feel comfortable going, eliminate backlashes by 100%. I just don't see that being true. The pros that I look up to, those guys get paid. That's all they're doing is casting. They might even be honest and say every once in a while they get a backlash. Bill Dance definitely got backlashes from time to time, and he's the king. And so the reality is you don't have to be scared of this really cool piece of gear. Pick up an Abu Garcia Max X, get it out onto the water, start learning how to flip, how to cast with a baitcaster, and how to reduce your bird's nest or backlash. You guys are going to love this thing as you get good with it. So get out there and navigate the wild.